sustainability of cities, or making things for disabled people. They are all working to see that they make the life of many of us wonderful. So today's interactions are going to be very, very rich, and we are very fortunate that we have a person having PhD in intellectual property rights in the form of Nidhi-Ben Buch. You cannot have better person than this qualification in the same field. So let us all enjoy today's sessions and take back things probably which might trigger some spark in our minds. I am Prashant Gandhi, a manufacturer having lifetime worked for producing import substitutes with better features than what they were coming from outside. Have applied for about 7 patents by now. Have 1 patent in India and 1 in Israel. And we have carved out a way as to how to sustain this culture of research and innovation in the organizations. Maybe at the end, if I get time, if things are complete, I will try to talk about that for a minute or so. Today among speakers, we have Shani Bhai Pandya and Hani Bhai Bhakchandani, both of them having studied from PDPU, our own institute here. Shani Bhai works for improving the sustainability of cities and has several design patents, to be precise 18 of them. He has also got 7 of them are granted to him. And Hani Bhai, who works for disabled persons, has done wonderful. You know, he was the creator of the incubation center at PDPU and then jumped into this line. And in case of Ananya, it is really a marvelous case. You see a Marwadi girl coming from a conservative atmosphere has brought out concept of male intimate hygiene. Now it's a real wonderful area she is touching, which is very important also. And to moderate it all, Nidhi-Ben is head of patent department in GNLU. She has several degrees other than PhD, but madam, I skip it now. And I would like you to take it over from here. For information of all, this program is also streamed live on YouTube also, on AMS channel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prashant Bhai, for that generous introduction for all of us. I think, say that on behalf of all 3 youngsters sitting here. A very good evening to all present here, and lots of good wishes on the World's IP Day. World's IP Day, I'll just briefly talk about it. This particular day is not something which is recently being celebrated. This particular day started being celebrated since 2000. So we are almost 2 decades old with this celebration, but I think we consider it to be something which is recently added to the list of our days to be celebrated. But I'm glad that at last it has been added and it is being recognized. This particular day is being celebrated to promote and recognize innovations across the world. This is the day on which the World Intellectual Property Organization was being established with signing of international instrument known as WIPO Convention. And WIPO is an organization based in Geneva that looks after the intellectual property rights related all aspects, mainly how to manage the IP education, how to manage the IP instruments and the execution of it. So this is something which is very brief. Now, when we are celebrating a day, this day marks a particular thing, and that is celebrating innovation, celebrating and promoting innovation. When we talk about innovation, I think human race, starting from all phases, starting from evolution to survival crisis to sustainability to growth to prosperity, one thing has remained constant, rather sacrosanct, and that is innovation. I think human race would not have actually come this long if human were not creative, human were not innovative. So we are here to celebrate this creativity. I think the life which was there earlier and life which is there today, I think what can be a better illustration than just to, think about what was life in 2019. COVID has divided us into two phases of life, pre and post, right? So pre-COVID, probably we never knew how to operate virtually. And today I was just, while talking to Gopi, I was just telling her there are so many people who asked me, can you share the link for this particular program? And I said, there is only one link, which is direct interaction link, and we want to re-establish that, because this was new temporary normal. Our original normal is physical interaction, where we are face to face together, and I think that world definitely has contributed a lot for innovation. So with those few words, and being mindful of the fact that I'm not the speaker, I'm the moderator, and moderator is a link and should not become a hindrance. So I will definitely not be between both of you. I will be a link so that you can connect with these youngsters. I will the session that we are planning, we will start in a manner that, I will be going to each one of them. And I think the introduction is already given by Prashant Bhai. So I am not repeating that for everyone. I'm sure all of you are very eager to know what their thoughts are about innovation and how innovation has helped them come to this particular level. So I want all of them to talk about their and their journey. And before that, I think since we are very eager to talk about innovation and IP, there is a formality that before I miss, I will finish it. I will request Prashant to please come.
We have a traditional dynamic to facilitate with the
That's okay. Thank you. So why are they here? Because as has been rightly pointed out by Prashant Bhai, the theme for the world's IP Day is youth and innovation. So that's how to talk about innovation. We have got those youngsters who are making mark, and they will talk about their journey. So I think we can start with Shani, if they are fine with the microphone here. I think that would give them, better opportunity to connect with them. You can just, tell us something about your thoughts on youth and IP, what you think about it, and then you can take us to the journey of your innovation. Whatever is convenient to you. Yeah, if you are comfortable here.
Namaste everyone, good evening. I am Sunny Pandya, founder and CEO, Imagine Poverty Private Limited. I am a son of a teacher, right? My parents are teachers, my dada is retired principal, and I'm the first generation entrepreneur of my family. And I'm taking a proud of telling that, right? And it's proud for me that in Gujarat, many people believe that the entrepreneurship is in blood, right? I'm removing that myth. It's not. It can be learned, it can be practiced, right? So I'm a son of a teacher and first generation entrepreneur. So that's my basic introduction. So I have two phases of my life. First phase where I contributed for establishment of one of the incubation center. So the entire journey is available on YouTube, so I'm not focusing on that. It's a TEDx speech available with the student-driven incubation center, which I co-founded when I was a student, right? Because I wanted to start something and no one was supporting me. So we thought of to start incubation center to support people like us. So the entire journey I have delivered in a TEDx speech, so you can go through it. But the second phase of my life, right, where one of the motivation is here in the stage, Mr. Honey, right. There are young entrepreneurs like him when I was working with the incubation center of PDPU, where I have seen a lot of success and failure journeys of startups, right. One day I was thinking, what about experiencing that journey of entrepreneurship by going on that side of a table, right? It was difficult, right? Because it was difficult for me to ask my parents that I'm leaving a good paying job from college, right? It was difficult because I was going to get, I was supposed to marry in month of April. In month of February, I got married and I started my venture in month of April. So it was difficult to convince my wife as well that I am leaving the job and starting the business, right? પણ આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં કહેવાય ને જીગરો, right? Courage, right? I was having courage to do something, right? I was having courage to experience the entrepreneurship. So I talked to my ex-boss and right now my mentor, Mr. Kapadia from the college. Give me a leave. I want to start my venture, right? I want to experience the entrepreneurship. That is the best way to learn the entrepreneurship, right? So I asked them, and he's also an entrepreneurial person. He said, okay, you want to pursue it, you can pursue it, right? Because the incubation center, the motive was to create entrepreneurs, next generation entrepreneurs. So he got agreed, right? And before leaving the job, I asked my grandparents, right? Because I'm staying with my grandparents. Before leaving the job, I will drop the job. I said to them, right? And I'm starting my new venture. Are you going to support me? And that day, my grandfather cried and he said, yes, we are going to support you. And then I have courage to say, Mr. Kapade, that I'm going to leave the job, right? Because I have to take them on confidence as well. It's not about always taking a risk. It's about taking a calculated risk, right? That's what I did at that time. So I decided to start something. People were telling about idea, what is going to be their idea, right? So poverty is, I'm always telling in the public platforms, poverty is not started by me. It started by my colleague, which Gopi Madam might be knowing, Mr. Happy Patel, was working with me at the PDP Incubation Center. It was one of the first idea which he has started, right? Then he went to Canada for pursuing his master. The idea was closed down in the incubation center. Now I was searching something as an entrepreneurial opportunity. So I taken over that idea, right? I asked Happy as well and the management as well, and officially taken over that idea. That was a beautification idea meant for beautifying the gardens and the landscape, right? So product was there, but I was not knowing how to sell it. And the best way which I learned at that time is going to the market, right? Honey was going to the Blind People Association at that time, so I learned from him. It's best to go to the people who need it the most, right? So I went to the ONGC, I went to the cities, I went to the garden authorities of various municipal corporations, I talked to them, right? I started to understand what problem this product can solve, right? And client gives, when you approach anyone, right, they give good inputs, good feedbacks, right? And that was the starting phase for me to understand the importance of solving the needs of the people, needs of the cities, right? So that was the first area. The ONGC became one of the first client. I was there to sell my product in their garden areas. They said, are you able to provide a safe drinking water with the solar? I was a chemical engineer, not having any experience in the solar, right? At that time, the courage again, right? I said yes. I was not having second thought. Then again, went back to the basics, went back to the professors in the college. I want to get it done, right? And that's how I got my first client. ONGC given us 16 lakhs of order, right? And we are able to do it very well at that time. It was one of the first solar plant of Gujarat, which was 100% running from the solar energy. That boosted my confidence. What next, right? So I was just reading articles, medias and everything. At the same time, the IP journey, I learned from Jatin sir and madam at that time, because I was coordinating from PDPU for the IPRs, for filing patents and IP. So my first IP, I started my company in April 2018. In July, my first design patent I submitted. And I also won the IPPO award that year. And that also boosted my confidence, right? IP is an important asset for me, right from day one of the company. So till date, we also kind of, anyone designs anything in a sketch, right? I would like to share with you that we still store that sketch in our books, right? Why? If anyone have infringement of it, right, we can say that this date, this design was created, and that's part of a copyright, which might be filed, which might not be filed, but that's originally invented by us, right? So that the basics were there. I started with the first design patent at that time. I also applied for a power tree patent. Madam said the both words are common, that's not able to grant, right? But after 3 years, we were able to get the granted power tree patent as well for the word, right? So that was the IP related areas in the initial phase of my life. At the same time, I wanted to make it big, right? We don't start startups to just make it to 0 to 1. We start startups to solve bigger problems, make it scalable ventures. So that was the area at that time. We find out which are the other organizations which are facing similar challenge, right? So one day, again, I went to my mentor, Mr. Kapade. I was just interacting. The PDP has 1 megawatt solar plant, right? I said one day, what is the kind of a market value of that land is going to be in the city of Gandhinagar of 6-acre dedicated land? The number is huge, right? Number is huge, which is 10 times higher than the cost of a solar power plant, right? We said this is the problem which we want to address, right? This is a challenge we want to address. Space in the solar industry is a big challenge. It's an all-time big challenge, right? Many people say, Kutch mein lagai do na plant. When you install plant in a Kutch, right, which is far away from the city, it involves huge transmission distribution loss. In Gujarat, they charge, for an example, cost of electricity for producing solar is around 2 rupees. And plus 1.5 rupees is the transmission distribution loss charges, which are charged by the government for transmitting energy which is far away from the city and taking to the place where it is consumed, right? So we cleared our basics and our product was solving that problem, right? So we taken our product to the cities, corporates, industrial areas, and we said, why to provide dedicated space? It's asset for you, right? Go decentralize, make microgrids, install solar tree in your gardens, borders, right? And we were able to do business in 3 years, various up, downs in the founders, in the partnerships. I failed miserably in the many times in the various aspects, right? But I learned a lot at that time, right? And having separate kind of a discussion, which we can go, it's entire night when normally I tell people to have the failure experiences to say, right? I have different kind of failure experience in the life, right? I got partnership માં ડખા થતા હોય એ પણ થયેલું છે ઘણી પેટન્ટ ઇન્ફ્રિજમેન્ટ હોય તો so that is also a big challenge. Patent infringement, the central government institute copying the same patent which we are doing it, right? We already filed that patent before them. We have to fight because we are protected by the IPR, right? At that time we are having courage to fight with them. So patent and IPR played very much crucial role in the entire journey of power tree. And success and failure is a part of entrepreneurship. Every day I got success in some of the areas. Every day I got failed in some of the areas. That's okay, right? And many people, there are some of the myths which I take a time for just removing the myths of the entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is difficult, but yes, it's achievable. It can be learned, right? And don't start a venture because you want to become your own boss. Because you're going to be one of the biggest employee your company ever had. You have to work day and night, right? So don't have that myth that you are going to be your own boss. Yes, you are going to be your own boss, which is telling that if the worker is not there, you have to clean your office, right? If the engineer is not there, you have to do fitting and installation work. I did foundation many times on my own, right? So I learned from the basics and right now doing good in the market and now scaling it up. Again, a son of a teacher, signing off. Thank you.
Thank you very much for highlighting how IP has helped you and how your journey of success and failure, somehow you have been able to come out of that and you are growing. I think on the same line, I would invite Honey, and of course, as a moderator, I will play my role and request you to restrict yourself to 10 minutes.
Hello everyone. So as Shani bhai told, like okay, so मेरा स्टोरी यहाँ से नहीं स्टार्ट होता कभी भी, बट मैं आपको 2 साल पहले का स्टोरी बताता हूँ जब मैं 11th में था. एंड I was one of the topper in 10th class and I got very good marks in 10th, and I went to the Info City, and I am coming from a Gujarati medium school, and हमारा जो स्कूल था उस वहाँ पर गुजरात मीडियम 11th-12th में नहीं था, तो आई वेंट टू द इन्फो सिटी गांधीनगर इन गुजरात मीडियम. तो वहाँ पर मुझे ऐसा लगा कि मैं यहाँ पर करूँगा क्या, लाइक आगे जाके करूँगा क्या. एंड फर्स्ट सेकंड सेमेस्टर के बाद शनि भाई वहाँ पर आए थे पीडीबी में से, लाइक ही वाज इन फर्स्ट और सेकंड ईयर, एंड वो वहाँ पर आए थे एंड मैं उनके पीछे पड़ गया. तब से दिन में 5 फ़ोन करता था, वो कॉलेज में होते थे, फ़ोन ही उठाते थे. सो तो वहाँ से मेरा शनि भाई के साथ इंस्पिरेशन हुआ, एंड शनि भाई ने मुझे पीडीपी में बुलाया. एंड 11th में आई वेंट टू दी ऑन 28th February 2011 वर्ल्ड साइंस डे के दिन मैं पीडीपी गया था फर्स्ट टाइम, एंड आई वॉज इन 11th माई जूनियर कॉलेज. तो वहाँ पर देखा तो कॉलेज कैसी होती है वो तब मुझे पता चला, एंड मैंने बोला कि मुझे यहाँ पर ही एडमिशन लेना है. एंड उस टाइम तक मेरा सेमेस्टर 1 का रिजल्ट आ चुका था, विच वॉज रफली अराउंड 68. मैं बहुत मस्तीखोर था 11th-12th में. फिर पता चला कि पढ़ाई करूँगा तो अच्छे कॉलेज में जाऊँगा. सो एंड शनि भाई वॉज माई इंस्पिरेशन फ्रॉम दोज डेज, लाइक 11th स्टैंडर्ड. ओके, सो कमिंग टू द स्टोरी. मैं ये स्टोरी किसी को नहीं बताता, बट ओके. So I got very good marks in second, third, fourth semester, and I went to the PDP, and PDP में चल रहा था अच्छा सा, and I got like I'm representing many clubs in my first year, second year, and उसी टाइम पर मेरा इंटर्नशिप करना था, सोशल इंटर्नशिप जो मैंने ब्लाइंड पीपल एसोसिएशन में किया. एंड ड्यूरिंग द इंटर्नशिप मुझे ऐसा रियलाइज़ हुआ कि लाइक दिस इज़ समथिंग डिफरेंट. Like I was doing internship in a blind school and working with day and night, and जो मेरा फ्रेंड था गणेश who is a visually impaired, उसके साथ मुझे एक प्रोजेक्ट पे काम करना था, एंड वो दोस्ती गहरी होती गई. एंड फिर पता चला कि गणेश का एक दिन एक्सीडेंट हुआ है. सो लाइक जिसके साथ मैं खाना खाता था, जिसके साथ मैं सुख दुख की बातें शेयर करता था, वो 3-4 दिन नहीं आया. फिर पता चला कि उसका एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, एंड आई वेंट टू हिज होम, एंड उसको माथे पे 6 टाँके आए थे. 6 स्टिचेस ही गॉट बिकॉज ही वॉज कमिंग टू द ब्लाइंड पीपल एसोसिएशन, एंड रास्ते में उसको मेटल रोड लग गई. तो एट दैट टाइम आई थॉट के ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए था, लाइक जो हुआ है दिस इज़ नॉट नॉर्मल फॉर अस. तो उनके लिए क्यों. तो मैंने अपने ब्लाइंड मेंटर जो हैं हमारे ब्लाइंड स्कूल में ही, डॉक्टर सोनी सर को मैंने बताया कि ही इज़ ऑल्सो ब्लाइंड पर्सन, कि ऐसा हुआ है गणेश के साथ. तो ही सेड इट इज़ वेरी कॉमन फॉर ब्लाइंड पर्सन कि हम चलते हैं तो अबाउ नी लेवल जो भी ऑब्जेक्ट्स आते हैं वो हमको पता नहीं चलते और हम टकरा जाते हैं. सो आई सेड दिस इज़ द नॉट अ नॉर्मल थिंग. एंड उसने बोला कि नहीं देखो मुझे यहाँ पर निशान हैं, मुझे भी लगे हुए हैं. तो मैंने बोला कि वी आर लिविंग इन 21st century. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट 2015 व्हेन आई वाज इन सेकंड ईयर. तो वी आर लिविंग इन 21st century. अभी हम स्मार्टफोन्स की बात कर रहे हैं, स्मार्ट सिटीज़ की बात कर रहे हैं, और एक छोटा सा डिवाइस नहीं बन सकता जो आपके सामने से कोई भी ऑब्जेक्ट आएगा तो बताएगा. तो उसने बोला कि ऐसे ऑब्जेक्ट प्रोडक्ट्स हैं बट दे आर सो कॉस्टली और इतने अच्छे एक्यूरेट इंडिया के माहौल में चलने वाली नहीं है. तो आई सेड कि मैं कुछ करता हूँ. एंड ही टोल्ड लाइक इन टॉन्ट कि तुम्हारे जैसे बहुत सारे पीपल आर कमिंग फ्रॉम IIM, NID एंड ऑल दोज थिंग, IITs. दे आर सेइंग कि हम ऐसा बनाएंगे बट कोई बनाता नहीं है. सो ओके, आई एम ऑल्सो लाइक दोज गाइज. मेरा इंटर्नशिप ख़त्म हुआ, मैंने कुछ किया नहीं, एंड लाइक आई वेंट टू दी अगेन कॉलेज स्टार्टेड. थर्ड ईयर में आया मैं, और थर्ड ईयर में आई बिकम अ प्रेजिडेंट ऑफ आवर रोबोटिक्स क्लब इन PDPU, पंडित दीनदयाल एनर्जी यूनिवर्सिटी. तो वहीं पर एक रोबोट जो होता है ऑब्जेक्ट अवॉइडर रोबोट, वहाँ से आइडिया आया कि मेरे एल्गोरिदम के हिसाब से वो बोर्ड के सामने कोई भी ऑब्जेक्ट आता है तो वो लेफ्ट या राइट टर्न लेता है. तो वाई नॉट वी कैन मेक समथिंग सिमिलर विच कैन हेल्प आवर ब्लाइंड फ्रेंड. के सामने आएगा तो इट विल बी टर्न लेफ्ट और राइट. तो दिस इज आइडिया विच स्टार्टेड एज अ प्रोजेक्ट. मैंने टॉर्च बनाया, एक्चुअली टॉर्च जो हम एवर रेडी का यूज़ करते हैं. गोपी मैम ने देखा है, सबने देखा है ऑलमोस्ट, जतिन सर. तो वो टॉर्च था जिसका मैंने लाइट बल्ब निकाल के मैंने अल्ट्रासोनिक सेंसर लगाया, एंड एक दिन में प्रोग्रामिंग करके आई वेंट टू दी ब्लाइंड स्कूल ऑन द सेकेंड डे ओनली. एंड वहाँ पर जाके जब मैंने ये प्रोडक्ट का डेमो दिया, एंड इट वाज लाइक, जो मेरे टीचर्स थे जिनके अंडर में मैंने इंटर्नशिप की थी, दे आर लाइक सुपर अमेजिंग. लाइक कि ऐसा प्रोडक्ट हमने देखे थे, सुने थे, बट कभी एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया था, एंड तुमने बनाया है, इट इज़ ग्रेट. तो उन्होंने सभी जितने भी 400 350 जितने ब्लाइंड लोग थे, उन सबको एक प्रार्थना हॉल में एकत्रित किया, एंड वहाँ पर मैंने डेमो दिया. It was like my first public speaking like in my third year, and 300 350 लोगों के साथ बात करना, and everyone was knowing with my voice, क्योंकि मैंने वहाँ पर 45-50 डेज़ का इंटर्नशिप किया था. तो इट वॉज माई वेरी वेरी ग्रेट डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन, एंड लोगों को बहुत अच्छा लगा, एंड दे आर ब्लेसिंग मी लाइक एनीथिंग. बट मुझे पता है कि मैंने इनके लिए सिर्फ एक दिन काम किया है, एंड दे आर ब्लेसिंग मी लाइक मेरा लाइफ सफल हो गया. लाइक दिस काइंड ऑफ ब्लेसिंग्स आई गॉट फ्रॉम ऑन दैट डे. तो मैंने ये बनाना चालू किया. एट द सेम टाइम आई वॉज यूनिवर्सिटी टॉपर, एंड आई वेंट टू दी माई प्रोफेसर एंड अभिनव कपड़े ऑफ कोर्स. तो उन्होंने बोला कि वाई नॉट यू अप्लाई फॉर स्टार्टअप ग्रांट. मैंने बोला कि ओके सर, मैं अप्लाई करते हैं. तो उन्होंने बोला कि एक राइटअप दे दो, एंड उसी टाइम शनि भाई ने IISc स्टार्ट किया था. तो इट वॉज वेरी कॉन्सिडर्स, एंड अगेन उसी टाइम गवर्नमेंट ऑफ गुजरात ने स्टार्टअप के लिए 25 लाख का ग्रांट दे रहे थे. एंड लाइक आई गॉट फॉर्चुनेट कि मैं फर्स्ट 4 स्टार्टअप में हूँ जिनको गवर्नमेंट ऑफ गुजरात से 25 लाख का ग्रांट मिला इन माई थर्ड ईयर. सो दिस इज़ द जर्नी विच स्टार्टेड एज अ प्रोजेक्ट, एंड वहाँ से जो एंटरप्रेन्योर की रोलर कोस्टर जर्नी स्टार्ट हुई, इट वाज लाइक टोटली अप्स एंड डाउन्स. एंड साथ ही साथ हमको पता चला कि इसको पेटेंट करवाना है. पेटेंट करवाने के लिए मैं मैम के पास गया. लाइक आई मेट दीपाली मैम. तो वहाँ पर क्या हुआ कि इट इज़ लाइक वेरी सिंपल, इट इज़ नॉट इनोवेटिव, राइट. ऐसे बहुत सारे प्रोडक्ट्स थे, तो उन्होंने मुझे 3-4 चीज़ें बताई कि देखो, A+B = C होता है तो आपको पेटेंट नहीं मिलेगा. दूसरा, इसका प्राइस आप कितना कम कर सकते हो, और देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स लाइक दिस. तो मैंने बोला कि यार डर लग रहा है, मैं पहले प्रोडक्ट बना लूँ, फिर बाद में आता हूँ. सो आई केम आफ्टर ऑलमोस्ट 8 to 9 months, एंड उसी लाइक ऑन दैट पीरियड आई स्टार्टेड डेवलपिंग प्रोटोटाइप्स एंड वर्किंग ऑन दिस. सो मेन थिंग, मैं इसको अभी भी एक प्रोजेक्ट की तरह ही ले रहा था. लाइक इवन आई गॉट द ग्रांट, इवन माई कंपनी गॉट रजिस्टर, आई वॉज टेकिंग दिस एज अ प्रोजेक्ट. So after third year, I did my internship at one of the big MNC in Ahmedabad, and वहाँ से मुझे थर्ड ईयर के बाद ही एक बहुत अच्छा प्लेसमेंट ऑफर का मिला, बिकॉज आई वॉज अ यूनिवर्सिटी टॉपर. आई डिड लाइक आई पब्लिश्ड 7 papers around across the globe. So I got a very good job opportunity from one of the MNC, and I'm coming from Sindhi business family. तो मैंने पापा से बात किया, पापा मुझे लाइफ में कुछ अपना करना है, बट जॉब अच्छा मिला है तो जॉब करूँ कि क्या करूँ. तो माय फादर सेड कि जो तुमको 25 लाख मिले उसका क्या, बिकॉज यू लाइक पैसे किसी को फ्री में नहीं मिलते. लक्ष्मी किसी के पास भी जाती है तो बहुत डर के जाती है. सो एट अ वेरी यंग एज यू गोट 25 lakhs, तो उसका क्या. पहले उसका आंसर सोचा है. तो मैंने बोला कि पापा देखो, मैंने उसमें से 4.5 lakhs का अराउंड खर्चा किया है, एंड 20 lakhs अभी भी कॉलेज के पास है. तो उसने बोला नहीं, पहले 4.5 lakhs तुम अगर तुम प्रोजेक्ट के ऊपर काम नहीं कर रहे हो तो वो रिटर्न दो, तो ही फिर तुम आगे नया स्टार्ट करो. सो दिस इज़ द वैल्यूज़ विच आई गॉट फ्रॉम माई पेरेंट्स, एंड ही वॉज वेरी सपोर्टिव. बट एट दैट टाइम आई हैव 3 opportunities कि मैं पापा का बिजनेस को आगे लेके जाऊँ, या आई जॉइन द कंपनी जहाँ से मुझे ऑफर मिला था, या थर्ड जो टॉर्चिट था, जो बहुत ही बेबी स्टेप्स पे था, जिस पे मैं सीरियस नहीं था. एंड उसी दिन पापा ने एक बात और बोली कि अगर एक साथ तुम 2 नाव में पाँव रखोगे, साथ में जॉब करोगे, साथ में टॉर्चिट भी करोगे, या मेरा बिजनेस करोगे, साथ में टॉर्चिट करोगे, तो दोनों में से कहीं पर सक्सेस नहीं हो पाओगे. सो यू हैव टू थिंक ओनली वन डायरेक्शन. सो उस दिन से आई स्टार्टेड कम्प्लीटली डिवोटिंग माई एंटायर 24/7 टू टॉर्चर, एंड वहाँ से मेरा रियल स्ट्रगल चालू होता है. एंड आफ्टर ऑलमोस्ट 11 months ऑन 12th October 2017 हमने एक प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च किया, सारथी. एंड उसका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हमारे पास पहले नहीं था. फिर देन वी स्टार्टेड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इन हाउस, एंड देन वी स्टार्टेड सेलिंग फ्रॉम January 2018. And I'm happy to share, like within last 3 to 4 years, we have impacted more than 100,000 lives across India, not only in India but across the world. So like ये जितना स्टोरी शॉर्ट है उतना ही इतना डिटेल में मैं जा सकता हूँ, बट अगेन इट विल थोड़ा रात हो जाएगा. बट it was very roller coaster journey. Like being a founder, you have to do IP thing, you have to do manufacturing, you have to do designing, you have to do branding, you have to also look after social media pages, website खुद मैंने डेवलप किया है. तो there's so many things which you have to do, and this is जैसा शनि भाई ने बोला, this is 24/7 का आपका जॉब हो जाता है. Like you are not becoming a boss, you are becoming a full-time employee. Okay, so another story part, I'm giving you some inspiration from my journey. Like again, it's not that great journey, but I'm trying to give the one idea कि कोविड के टाइम पे हमारा, कोविड से पहले हमारे पास 32 लोगों का टीम था, नॉट ओनली इन अहमदाबाद, ऑल्सो इन दिल्ली एंड बेंगलोर. एंड हमारे पास बहुत अच्छा ऑर्डर आने वाला था. एंड कोविड के बाद सारे ऑर्डर्स कैंसिल हो गए बिकॉज ऑफ पेंडेमिक. एंड जितने भी फंड्स आने वाले थे वो जहाँ पर यूज़ होना था वहाँ पर हुआ. तो हमको जो फंड्स का परचेस ऑर्डर्स मिले हुए थे वो सारे कैंसिल हो गए. एंड जो 32 लोगों का टीम था, इंक्लूडिंग माई वन को फाउंडर, हम नवंबर 2020 तक सिर्फ 5-7 लोग बचे थे. सो देट वॉज अगेन अ टाइम जब मेरा शादी होने वाला था. एंड सो मैं अभी क्या करूँ, लाइक इवन आई एम नॉट श्योर कि मैं करूँ कि नहीं करूँ, क्योंकि आपके 32 लोगों में से सिर्फ आप 5 + 2 7 लोग बचे हो. एंड नवंबर में ही मेरे को फाउंडर जो दिल्ली का था, ही लेफ्ट. तो इवन आई वॉज थिंकिंग कि मैं कर क्या रहा हूँ लाइफ में. तो दिस वॉज द सेकंड टाइम आई वॉज थिंकिंग वट एवर आई एम डूइंग इज राइट और नॉट. सो सेकंड लाइफ में ऐसा मोड आया, पहले भी एक बार आ चुका था. तो लाइक इफ़ यू आर गुड पर्सन ना, तो आपको बहुत अच्छे लोग मिल जाते हैं. एंड आई डोंट नो फ्रॉम वेयर हर्षवर्धन जजू, ही इज़ द एक्स CEO ऑफ कैनपेक इंडिया. लाइक 450 करोड़ का टर्नओवर है मंथली का उनका. तो ही अप्रोच मी कि तुम बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हो, आई वॉन्टेड टू कंट्रीब्यूट. तो उस टाइम पे मेरा एक तो डाउनफॉल चल रहा था. एंड उनसे मैंने लाइक फर्स्ट कॉल में ही सारी बात कर ली कि ये है, मैं अभी क्या करूँ, इवन आई एम थिंकिंग. तो ही कॉल्ड मी कि मैं कैसे हेल्प कर सकता हूँ. तो आई सोच के सर मैं खुद कंपनी को बंद करने का सोच रहा हूँ. देन ही केम विद इन नेक्स्ट 3 to 4 days, ही केम टू आवर ऑफिस अहमदाबाद. ही टोल्ड कि अभी तुम्हारे पास कितना फंड अवेलेबल है. आई सेड कि हमारे पास फंड्स हैं बिकॉज वी आर प्रॉफिट मेकिंग कंपनी फ्रॉम लास्ट 3 years. तो उसने बोला कि 7 महीने का फंड है ना, तो तुम 6 से 7 महीने और इसको चालू करो. एंड इस तरीके से चालू करो कि तुम दूसरा को सोचो ही मत. सो अगेन स्टार्टेड. एंड फरवरी मार्च आते आते हमारे पास एक 18 करोड़ से ज़्यादा का एक ऑर्डर आ गया था. सो इट वॉज वन ऑफ द ह्यूज ऑर्डर विच वी गॉट. अगर मैंने दिसंबर 2020 में बंद कर दिया होता तो हमारे पास ये ऑर्डर नहीं होता. And so today, like we are now the company who provides mentorship, who provides funding, who provides marketing support to other small assistive startups जिनको फंडिंग चाहिए, जिनको हम उनसे पेटेंट का एक्सक्लूसिविटी राइट्स लेते हैं एंड हम मार्केट करते हैं. सो नाउ वी बिकम अ मार्केट प्लेयर. बट हम जो प्रोडक्ट्स देखते हैं वो उसमें वही चीज़ देखते हैं जो मैं YJ त्रिवेदी कंपनी से सिखाऊँ कि लाइक आपका प्रोडक्ट क्या यूनिक प्रॉब्लम को सोल्व करा है, आपका प्रोडक्ट क्या A+B = C तो नहीं बना रहा. तो अगेन सो थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you very much, Hani, for highlighting how challenging a life of innovator is, and being so very honest with all ups and downs that you have faced. Another thing that you have highlighted, I would also like to highlight that language is never a barrier in a life of an innovator. So he's very rightly said, and if I add myself, I am very proud to say that I have studied from Gujarati medium, right? Being part of a vernacular language institution is something something about which one has to be extremely proud of. So I think language is never a barrier, and ups and downs are part and parcel of an innovator's life. But one thing that he has added at the end definitely is conveying a message for today, that if you are well aware of IP domain and you can bring it with your innovation, you can definitely handle your downs well and convert it into ups. So thank you very much for highlighting that. And now we will go to Ananya, who is going to talk about how she has broken the stereotypes and come out with an excellent product.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm so glad to be a part of the panel who is so experienced in entrepreneurship. I, on the other hand, am very young. I'm a baby. Startup is actually something that came out of my idleness during COVID times. So idle that I was inspecting bathrooms in my family. So I'll tell you how we came about the idea for Nut Job. I have my father who was my inspiration to start this company. so, so basically, I was freshly unemployed. I had just come back from Bombay in the month of March to come for holy holidays. And to my, I'd say to my benefit, things worked out, but I was unemployed and the lockdown was announced and I really didn't have anything to do. So because all the chores were being divided between everybody who was at the house, I got the chore of being the lazy person and who woke up late. So I took up the responsibility of cleaning up the bathrooms after everybody had done having a bath. So that is when I figured out that there was a lot of mess in the bathroom and it was created by my father. I let it go for, a couple of days, theek hai, chalo, let's see what happens. And I realized that this is a problem that I wanted to really address. So, I was very naive and just outrightly went and asked my father, ki why is there so much spillage in the bathroom? Like, Arey, but garmi hai yaar, powder ki zarurat hoti hai. I use powder, everybody else in the house also uses powder. But why so much for you? So he was a little coy about addressing why he really needed so much talcum powder. After a lot of pestering, he told me that it is something that he needs to keep his intimates dry. I would like to say it took a lot of guts for my father to also come and say something like this to his daughter, because, men, especially in a patriarchal setup, would not have women ask such questions. I come from a family where I feel privileged that I could ask a question like this, and I would really have women take that strength to go and ask questions. That is something that I would really suggest people who would want to be entrepreneurs or just people who are doing their own, to have the courage to go and ask questions, irrespective of whatever gender you're from. So luckily for me, my father did tell me what really male intimate hygiene was. I mean, yes, there was certain coyness about it, certain shyness about it, but I'm so glad that he told me about it. As a very general person, you usually, acha theek hai, iska koi alternative hai kya? So you Google things. I Googled. I never really found anything, especially here in India, that could cater to a problem such as male intimate hygiene. And I found out that internationally, this is a segment that's doing amazingly well. There are brands who are breaking the stereotype and doing it, but they're being run by men. And I'm like, yaar, ye to kafi general problem hai. I'm sure everybody here in the public would have seen a man scratching his intimates in public, but never really raised an eyebrow about it, because it's so imbibed in our okayness to societal behavior ki aap ye question nahi karoge, but you'll question a woman's bra strap showing. You'll question a woman who's wearing a little low neckline dress, like maybe what I am at the moment, and you'll question, is she really appropriately dressed? But you'll never really think about ki, is he behaving appropriately in the public, which is the gender disparity that you see in Indian society. So being a feminist, I did want to ask those questions going forward. And yeah, I googled, and nobody was really addressing something like this here in India. There were a few brands who had very, vanilla products that catered to intimate hygiene. That was a wash, theek hai, okay, bana diya. But nobody in general talking about why this needs attention. And that is exactly what Anushri and I thought of doing. Ki yaar, we found something that we can talk about, something that we can raise our voice about, make some noise about. And that is how Nut Job was born. We could have simply just got those products from US and got it for our fathers and, khatam karo. आपकी प्रॉब्लम खत्म, हमारी प्रॉब्लम खत्म, बाथरूम हमें क्लीन नहीं करना पड़ेगा. बट वी फिगर्ड कि यार, if we bring about a difference, there's such a big society and market gap addressing male intimate hygiene. And Anushri and I said ki chal kar lete hai, let's take that leap of faith and let's bring about a difference. But we didn't know that being girls, there's a lot more that comes with addressing difference. It's trying to get people to take you seriously. It's very difficult to have you be taken seriously, especially for a segment like this. Yeah, like आपके पास तो part भी नहीं है, आप क्या जानोगे what is this really about? So that is something that we faced, but I was glad that I found the support in my family, who ferociously believed that Anushri and I wanted to bring about a difference, and they helped us. My father outrightly did help us. He was the guinea pig, and I'm really happy and sorry that he tried and tested all the products that went into being. So he was our guinea pig. But yeah, a lot of that goes on behind being an entrepreneur. Lots of things that you need to face when you try to be an entrepreneur. But family support is really important. So yeah, that's how Nut Job was born. We did a lot of research. We went to a lot of people who would make this product for us. People, we had the formulation. But again, to get that formulation right for Indian skin types was something that we would want a manufacturer to really do. And who would really do it? मैं तो उनको बोलूँगी ये बना दो, पर वो मुझे उल्लू तो बना सकते, because I have no experience in something like this. But to have somebody who believes in you, who really tells you कि you know what, I have so many ideas that we could make this work, is really important. So I am so glad that I did find that manufacturer who could help us do that. So getting that formulation right was really important. Moving on, finding that brand name was also very important. While we were doing the research, we figured कि यार ये तो काफ़ी टबू टॉपिक है, मेरे पापा ही बात नहीं करे ऐसे खुले, तो दूसरे लोग कैसे बात करेंगे? So to address such a taboo topic was something that we figured is going to take a lot of balls. So I'm so glad that we got into that industry. One thing that I'd really say is, it took two vaginas to change the ball game. In pun intended. So, and I'm really glad that everybody, all of you really support the idea of this. This wasn't really the scene last year. But so happy to have changed a lot of mindsets through a lot of things, and grateful for Shark Tank to have happened. I'll make this quick, I'm sorry. So, coming on to the brand name, I wanted this brand to be something that everybody would associate with. What is something that you feel, you cannot really talk about openly? It's sex. We figured out that we need to work on a brand that makes us think about sex in a good way, not just sensual and I'll have somebody who's really pretty be a part of it, but somebody who really puts in the messaging right. And we figured that it was Durex that was doing it. And we figured that's exactly what we want to do through Nut Job. Educate while entertaining. And that's how a brand like this would really, find its relevance with the society right here. So that's how we did, क्या नाम सोच सकते कि जिसको सबको याद रहे. Nut Job was how we thought of it. Nut Job means crazy. That's exactly what Anushri and I are. We're two crazy women who started something like this, who took the balls to come and change something like this. So that's how Nut Job came into being. Also, it's really important to have the brand name right, because that builds your brand. Something that, if you've seen Shark Tank, that Aman and Ashneer also raised a question about कि यार ये brand के नाम पे तो क्या क्या बिक सकता है, क्या क्या बिक सकता है is so good because it gives us a big basket to bring about a change. So it's really important as a brand to have that significance that through a name, build a brand through the name, and I'm so glad that I get to change things through Nut Job. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ananya. I think as a society, we definitely look forward to more such women coming out and talking in this manner. I think a huge round of applause for all three of them. All three of them have highlighted how their journey has been. Lastly, when Ananya was talking about the branding part, I think that reminded me that all three innovations, starting from the one that we discussed, which is in form of a tree, which is trying to focus on how we can handle the issues of climate, to how sensitive honey has been with regard to this particular issue of blind people, and how Ananya is breaking all the stereotype. Every aspect of innovation is at one point in time being protected in one or the other manner. You can have technology, you can have a brand name. In fact, it was highlighted that an idea was even, literally reduced to writing so that it can be copyrighted. So I think innovation definitely needs a lot of space to survive, grow, and prosper. So, because when you start, there is a space or there is a phase of evolution, but then there is a possibility of having a survival and sustainability crisis. And from there, you have to go to, if you want to go to the phase of prosperity and growth, then I think innovation is required to be recognized in some form. So all these innovations are doing well, definitely because of the hard work which is being put in. But I think another aspect that we must highlight today, because of the significance of the day, is the protection which is being provided. And if this protection is being provided, I think I look at it that IP and innovation go hand in hand. If innovation goes alone, I think there are all chances that it may not come out of that phase of sustainability crisis, and may not enter the phase of growth. So with different recognition of IP, may it be patent, may it be trademark, may it be copyright, may it be industrial design, it will certainly give some sort of legitimate legal rights which can help innovation grow, and that growth will then can go from generation to generation. So I think that is something which all of them have highlighted with all ups and downs. And of course, your honesty has been remarkable. Thank you very much for that. Number one, how innovation has created a difference in your life and how it is creating an impact on the society. But in that particular journey, how IP has helped you take your idea to people. In absence of IP, taking your idea to people probably would have created many issues, would have rather created a multiple set of challenges for you than being able to focus more on your innovation. So I think that's the message that we get on World IP Day. Have an idea, protect an idea, and make a difference as far as individual life is concerned and the societal life, people at large are concerned. With this, I end and request Prashant Bhai to come and finish the formalities of the session.
निधि बहन, इससे बढ़िया मॉडरेशन कोई नहीं कर सकता था.
So I am a teacher, I did not speak.
एक चीज़ बहुत ऑफशूट बाहर आ रही है. इट्स कमिंग आउट कि बिकॉज एट अ वेरी यंग एज पीपल डू बिजनेस, पीपल गेट इनटू बिजनेस. शायद पेटेंट अटॉर्नीज जो है उनको शादी के लिए कैसा करेजियस होना पड़ेगा उसकी भी एडवाइस देनी पड़ेगी शायद, क्योंकि सबको ये प्रॉब्लम्स हो रहे हैं कि भाई दूसरा वाला हमें करने देगा या नहीं करने देगा, हाउ वी विल रिस्पेक्ट अवर बिजनेस. तो एनीवे, इन द बिगिनिंग आई टॉक्ड अबाउट सस्टेनिंग दिस मोमेंटम, क्योंकि आपकी प्रोडक्ट बास्केट में एक चीज़ है, दूसरी चीज़ है. And then what happens? When you bring something new to this world, you have created, I would say not competition, but a race for coexistence to do still better and better. Because when you are protected, you already have तलवार in your hand. Government organization को भी मैं कभी रोक सकता हूँ. You have that. You have that. तो उसके बाद में क्या है कि कोई और लोग आ जाएंगे जो इससे भी अच्छा बनाने के लिए, because they also want to give something better to the world. So then to continue this momentum, कई लोग कुछ चीज़ें करते हैं. जैसे हम लोग ने इनोवेशन टीम बनाई है जिसका फुल टाइम वर्क ये है कि प्रोडक्ट, प्रोसेस और इक्विपमेंट्स उसमें सुधार करते रहना. 3 महीने का टारगेट होता है, 3 महीना ख़त्म होने पे बोलते क्या क्या हुआ, आगे बढ़ते. एंड दैट हर के पास अलग अलग मॉडल होगा, बट सस्टेनिंग दिस मोमेंटम. क्योंकि सी यू आर ऑल वर्किंग इन अ ब्लू ओशन, इन एन ओशन वेयर इट्स नॉट डर्टी. देर इज़ नो बडी एल्स इन योर पावर ट्री में देखो या आपकी टॉर्च में देखो, ये लकड़ी भी जो है आपकी भी जो प्रोडक्ट्स है, तो होगा ये कि आपको एक हैबिट हो जाएगी ब्लू ओशन में वर्क करने की. एंड व्हेन you should all go and read that blue ocean, how to make sure that you continue remaining in this ocean for a long time, so that you make money, you reinvest that money for further researches. एंड क्योंकि प्रोडक्ट देखिए 2 कंसेप्ट है, एक प्रोडक्ट लाइफ साइकिल है और एक कस्टमर लाइफ टाइम वैल्यू है. कहीं ना कहीं इसको जैसे एक आदमी आएगा, दूसरा आदमी आएगा, तीसरा आदमी आएगा विथ सर्टेन मॉडिफिकेशन, आपको एक दूसरी लाइन बनानी पड़ेगी, है ना. तो ये एक बहुत बढ़िया होगा कि यंग इनोवेटर्स जो है उनके लिए ऐसी चीज़ें, हमें यूज़फुल चीज़ें बाहर आने लगे. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी कि आप लोग ने बहुत ट्रांसपेरेंट शेयरिंग किया, whether it was personal life or whether it was working with your father or your दादाजी, है ना. जो है it was really wonderful and eye opening. On behalf of AMA, we have a tradition. We would like to share a moment with you. I will start with moderator today. Any words from our President Radia ji, please? And then